put his head in front of the fellow, and that was why he couldn't make the tackle. French plays the ball, and Petherbridge is there at dummy half to be pulled down. Ryan. Pretty obvious what Ryan had on his mind that time. He just absolutely submitted. He could have almost gone for a voluntary tackle. 1.5 minutes of this reserve grade grand final to go. And played very typically like a grand final. Owens. Yes, to those two great people down in Junee. I hope you're both well and ready for a big grand final. Rogers covers it up for St George, but it's a penalty to the Dragons.
If you've got a move up your sleeve, something that's been a try scorer for you this year, this is the time to produce it. 1 minute to go in a grand final. The last throw of the dice.
Strip over the top, Bill. There's nothing else you can do, really.
Well, they got 40 seconds to do it in.
It's going to make it hard also, Roy. Balmain are back playing a sweeper now. Greg Lane, their halfback, and he's there to tidy anything up that should come that way.
Yeah, maybe a grubber along the ground, anything, you know, just hoping for a freakish bounce.
O'Connor plays the ball inside his own 22. This is Walsh. Long ball out to Graham Buckley. And Buckley is hit by the Balmain defence. 12 seconds to go. And a penalty to the Saints. Ryan's been in there the last couple of tackles working for this penalty. There's the countdown from the crowd. St George are going to lose this one unless this is a miracle. It might be a miracle ball from Thunalo. He could have possibly kept it alive. 3 players on his left are standing there saying, why didn't you give it? Why didn't you give it? The groan of anguish came from the coach.
He had 3 men on his outside, one of whom was Michael O'Connor.
And he can run a bit. So Balmain have taken out the reserve grade grand final. Players rushed to their diminutive coach, Peter Duffy. The good servant of the Balmain club is Peter. And Balmain have taken out the reserve grade grand final. We're going to try and get down to the ground. To Wayne Pearce, who should have little or no trouble in getting an interview from one of these guys.
Yeah.
So they hold their captain, Mike Marquito, aloft.
One's got to feel sorry for Steve Rogers.
And let's go down to the sideline. And here's Wayne Pearce.
Yes, Ray, it's ecstatic scenes down here from the Balmain camp. Battered and bruised bunch, but they're looking very, very happy. Kerry Hensley looks like a battled warrior, but he's over there screaming, blood screaming everywhere. It's just a great scenes down here from the Balmain camp.
So the jubilation in the Balmain camp is Wayne down on the sideline is ferreting in there.
Kerry, battered and bruised Kerry Hensley, how's it feel?
It's great, you know, straight up for the grand final. You can't describe the feeling unless it's happened to you.
You carried an injured hand into the match there, a legacy of your work. How did you feel at the end there when you came off? Did you really want to come off?
Oh, mate, it didn't really matter. Whatever Duff decided, that was it, you know. He's been pretty good throughout the year. He's got him there, the best forward against record in the league, so I think it's judgment to him.
So what will be happening now?
The drink, mate. We'll be on it. You'll be on it too.
Thanks, Kerry.
Thank you, Wayne Pearce, and thank you to Kerry Hensley. Now, one of the unhappy moments of this grand final, of course, is that Steve Rogers has played in the reserve grade grand final, and he's never been the member of a grand final winning side. It's quite incredible.
Another one. He's played in 2 with Cronulla and didn't get a victory in either of those. Backed up again today, and a lot of people thought that this was another chance for Steve, and unfortunately he's missed out again. He's been one of the all-time great players, and I say that not lightly. One of the all-time great players for Australian Rugby League, Steve Rogers, and he's a credit to the game.
There he is mounting the rostrum now, in fact, Steve. To the plaudits of the crowd. State manager of Rothmans of Pall Mall, Bob Page there. Steve, have a look at this. Have a look at the face on him. He's a shattered man, Roy Masters.
Yes, he's shaking his head in disbelief, really. He's saying, what have I got to do to do one of these damn things?
Wayne Pearce is now with Peter Duffy, the Balmain coach.
Peter, how does it feel being the coach of a premiership-winning side?
Unbelievable. It's hard to believe it's happening, Wayne.
You carried the hopes of all the Balmain fans into this game. I guess there's a bit of pressure relieved now.
I'm glad it's over. I can have a rest for 3 months.
Now, you wouldn't really have 3 months off, Peter, would you?
Yeah, that'll do me.
Thanks a lot, Peter Duffy.
Thanks.
So the St George side coming from the dais, the Balmain winners about to go up and be presented with the trophy. And I believe carrying out this duty for the reserve grade is Mr. Alec Mackey, Senior Vice President of the league. There's Mike Marquito shaking his hand now. The Balmain captain is going to speak.
To congratulate Peter Duffy, the coach, and the manager, George Stone. And thanks, fellas. Good work.
Yes, and thanks to you, Mike Marquito, because he played very strongly. And so as the Tigers go up to receive their tokens of their victory here in the reserve grade grand final, we'll take a break and be back with you at the Sydney Cricket Ground in just a moment. So the parachutists making their annual jump have left their aircraft. And the Balmain players continue with their lap of honour after taking out the grand final, defeating St George by 10 points to 8. That shot you're seeing was the parachutists leaving their craft just a few minutes back. I'm glad it's them and not me. I'll give you the tip. I get white knuckles just watching these guys. Here they come anyway. In fact, I think a couple of them, when they hit the ground, you'll recognise them fairly quickly. They're dressed as rather famous Channel 10 personalities. And so the fun of the fair continues at the Sydney Cricket Ground on Grand Final Day 1984. But I was just looking at Roy Masters' face. I don't think he can see too much fun in it. He had three sides looking like they were a great chance of winning a grand final. He finished up with nothing. Not a thing.
Now there are none. It's a situation where obviously the eligibility rules that applied over 2 months ago they were the things that really diminished the chances of our second and third grade winning. We had 19 players who couldn't play today because of those eligibility rules. We paid the price. But one of the interesting things that I really do believe has come out of the last 5 games that have been played here at the cricket ground